Welcome to another episode of the Ask Amity Show. My name is Edmund.
I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Cindy.
And today's topic is why adding your kids as a joint tenant on your home is a huge mistake. And this scenario applies if you're a homeowner and you're trying to figure out, how do I leave my house to my kids if something happens to me? A lot of you would put your kids as a joint tenant on the deed. So both you and your children would be co-owners of your house. And based on our experience and based on the current tax laws, that's usually a big tax mistake. So Cindy, can you tell us, why this is such a huge tax mistake?
So it's a huge tax mistake because when a home is purchased quite some time ago, then you go and you turn around, you sell that property, you're going to have to pay a certain amount of capital gains tax on it because the property has gained. And in California, properties gain a lot, especially over a number of years. Properties can double in value. So when you add a joint tenant to your property, you're essentially transferring that liability to your joint tenant. So when they go to sell that property, they're going to be faced with a potential tax liability of maybe $50,000, maybe even $100,000, depending on how long ago you purchased that property and how much that property has gained in value. So it's a huge tax mistake, and it's one of the biggest reasons why we use a living trust in order to have people inherit property. And it's also one of the biggest tax breaks that a lot of people don't know about by transferring property through a trust rather than adding heirs as joint tenants.
Yeah, and so I think, a lot of times our clients come in and they say, hey, I love my kids are really good to me, I trust them, and so they want to gift their properties to their kids right away, which is fine, but I think in order to also protect them from potential tax consequences, we do advise that our clients maybe take a step back and wait on gifting so quickly, especially for assets that have appraised at a higher value from the time that it was purchased. So if the kids are named as beneficiaries and they actually inherit the property, then the value of that property is at the time they inherit the property. So, like Cindy said, the potential for having them have to pay for capital gains tax if they turn around and sell it by inheriting the property would be significantly lower, if not zero. So I think that actually is better for their kids in the long run, and a lot of times that's kind of what we advise parents to really take a look at and think about before they add their kids as joint tenants.
Yeah, one of the other reasons why it's also a huge mistake is for liability reasons. So if you add anybody that you add to your property as a joint tenant will be a joint tenant. That means that not only do they own the property, that if they were to incur debt or have creditors coming after them, that asset can be reachable by those creditors as well, not just your own creditors, but your children's creditors.
Yeah, so the big lesson here is, there might be tax issues, there might be legal issues when it comes to changing your deed and putting your children's name on it. So we recommend that before you do anything with your home, make sure you talk to your CPA, make sure you talk to your estate planning attorney, and make sure that you can avoid these tax issues and these legal issues from popping up later on in the future. So if you have any other questions, we do have articles on these topics, and we will link them below for you to read. And I think that's it for this episode. So leave a comment below if you have any other questions for us, and we will do our best to answer it on our next show. See you next time.